Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Lydia with Sweet King's Garden, and things are about to get a little bit sweeter. That is because yesterday was August 22nd, I think so? August 21st. I'm always forgetting the dates, so forgive me. But yesterday was August 21st, and I hosted a family brunch, and my dad brought to my attention that the grapes, or my husband and I's grape arbor, were actually ripe this year. Now, my husband transplanted these grapes about 4 or 5 years ago. We've never harvested a single grape. It does take several years for grapes to get established. And then last year we were hoping we were going to harvest, but they ended up rotting before they ripened on the vine. So to our surprise, we picked 26 pounds of grapes yesterday. And my husband and I were in a mad dash to pick them while they were ripe. And then today, thankfully, I already had scheduled PTO. So I originally was going to spend the day canning tomato sauce and bruschetta. That has taken a back seat. I am making jelly today. So I am currently on my 4th batch of jelly. And this is white grape jelly. And I wasn't going to shoot a video, but I figured might as well just kind of show you very quickly what I did. So let's take a step back for just a moment. The recipe that I'm referencing is The Beginner's Guide to Canning by Diane, the canning diva. I learned about her canning book from the Roots and Refuge page. This is a great recipe book for both water bath canning and pressure canning. I have not attempted to pressure can yet. However, luckily, they do have a vintage grape jelly recipe that is water bath approved. So that is the recipe that I am using today. Now, personally, for recipe books that I have, cookbooks, I actually write in the cookbooks. I usually date when I try the recipe and any notes, as well as if I have to adjust the recipe, perhaps I have to scale up or scale down the recipe and I'm already writing down what the conversion is. I usually just write that into my book. Now, I used to be super particular with keeping my books nice and fresh and clean. However, for someone who just works in the kitchen, these notes are incredibly helpful, and I figured if I ever gift this book to someone, it could help them as well. I will link that book down below for your reference if you also have to can some grape jelly, but I will show you. The first 3 batches have already made 12, 24. I have more over there, around 36 half pints of those 26 pounds of grapes, and I have a number of 3/4 pint jars that Alex and I originally stocked up on these jars for honey. So we have to definitely restock our canning jar supplies, but I just want to kind of walk through the steps that I followed so far. This is not at all how I would have envisioned a cook with me, preserve with me video. In fact, I wasn't going to shoot a video at all. However, I changed my mind at the last minute, so this is just what you'll get. What I did yesterday is, due to the timing, I split this canning adventure into 2 separate parts. So yesterday, Alex and I picked all of the grapes, destemmed them, rinsed them up really good, and then we cooked them on the stove top with the water. So we completed step 1 in the canning book. Then we had to allow all of the grapes to drain so that there was some separation between the skins and seeds at the top. This is where you'll see in the canning book that you'll need some cheesecloth, and then the liquid strains into the lower portion of bucket or whatever device you end up finding. So step 1, we let that go overnight. I'm proceeding with steps 2 through 7 today. This recipe calls for 4 cups of juice per batch. So what I did was I am using my large Le Creuset pots. Luckily, I am able to make double batches. So each batch for me, I am using 8 cups of grape juice and 14 cups of sugar. I like to try and eat as clean and healthy as possible, so you can only imagine how much that hurt my heart. But I get it, it's jelly, it's supposed to be golden goodness, so that's what we're doing. I am stirring this frequently, so you'll see that it will start to bubble at the top. We will eventually skim all of this goodness out, but what you want to do is you're going to cook the juice and sugar mixture on medium-high heat, and then you're going to bring that to a boil. Once you bring that to a boil, you're going to add your liquid pectin. So last year, I made habanero jelly for the very first time. It was the very first time I've ever made any type of jelly, and I was unaware that there's different types of pectin. There's liquid pectin, powder pectin. So my advice to you, and I'll definitely highlight this in the description below, be mindful of what pectin is required for the recipe you're following. In this case, this is the liquid pectin that I'm using. Each single batch, it requires 2 3-ounce packs per batch, and because I'm doubling it, I'm putting 4 liquid pectins total into each batch. Now the batch that I have going here is actually just a single batch, so I'm only going to use 1 pack. Once you add your pectin to your juice and sugar mixture, you're going to allow that to come to a boil again. You're going to continue to stir this frequently throughout the entire time because you don't want any sediment to burn onto the bottom of your pot. And then after that, you're going to take a skimmer. In this case, I have one of these doohickeys. I usually use this to sift powdered sugar, but after the mixture with the pectin has boiled for 1 minute, like a rolling boil, you're going to take it off the heat. And I've just been transferring it onto my counter, onto this hot plate thing here, and then taking my time to sift any sediment on the top so it kind of creates this film. Once you have all of that sifted out, then you're ready to ladle your jelly mixture into your sanitized jars. Another piece of advice in terms of canning, recently purchased a stainless steel canning funnel. Last year I did all of my water bath canning without this funnel, and I did not realize how much of a pain that was until I actually can use a funnel, and I've been using this for all of my canning adventures this year, and it's been working out great, especially for this hot, sticky jelly mixture. After you've skimmed the top of your jelly mixture, you're going to carefully ladle that into your cans, leaving about a 1/4 inch headspace, and then keep a nice hot damp rag handy and some white distilled vinegar, and you're going to use that to just gently wipe off any jelly residue off the tops of your jars, and then you're going to top those jars with your sanitized lid and lid rings. After that, you simply add your jars to your water bath canner, allow the water bath canner to come up to a boil with those jars in there, and then set your timer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes and your jars have been in that hot water bath, you're going to then turn off the heat and then keep those jars in your canner for 5 additional minutes. After that, you can transfer them to a towel to let them rest, and do not disturb them. You don't want to jiggle the mixture at all. From what I've read, again, this is my first time making grape jelly, but you actually need to let the jelly set up, and it won't do that if it's constantly disturbed. So what I've been doing is I've just been transferring them to this towel, and because I'm making so many batches, I'm letting them cool just a little bit, and then I'm adding them back to these individual boxes, and I am not going to touch these anymore today. They're going to hang out here for at least another day, and then hopefully Alex and I could give them a really good taste test to see how this actually works. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this impromptu video. It's definitely not a format that I'm used to shooting, but nonetheless, I wanted to take you along this sweet journey because, as always, this is something new. So Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have a favorite grape jelly recipe to share, feel free to share it below. Otherwise, I can't wait to see you next time. Take care.